Glenn Livingston here to talk to you about your marketing center of gravity, which is a concept that I think that most people understand on its surface, but precious few understand the implications of how to execute and implement on this online. And because they don't, it causes a lot of hardship and failure. And those that do are really able to build an extremely solid and powerful foundation. So let me take you through what I mean. Google thinks in buckets or keyword themes. And I'm focusing on how Google thinks because I think that they really own the internet. And obviously the internet is indexed by keyword. And because there are billions of keyword searches, they have to kind of group them into a smaller number of buckets. And to the best of our ability, we think they have about 500,000 of those. And those buckets are related empirically, meaning that Google pays attention to what people click on when they're searching for certain words and what words are in the advertisements that people click on. So if they search for hiking, Google might see that they click on ads that talk about the benefits of hiking or hiking boots and what they go on to search for, what they spend money on. Google has more data than anyone else on the planet really about search behavior. And you can see these themes in something called the Wonder Wheel, and that's a little note to myself to demonstrate it on the video, so let's do that. If you were to go to Google and you do a search, let's say we do a search for hiking, and you click over here on Show Options, and many of you are saying, yes, 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 I know that, but I want to make sure everybody's tracking, and we'll get to something more advanced in a minute. Then you'll see the 8 spokes or groups of keyword themes that are most closely related to hiking. And so if you were to be bidding on the keyword hiking, or if you were to develop a blog with a marketing center of gravity called hiking, then Google would want to see that you are talking about these 8 topics. Also, Google would be willing to deliver impressions to you probably on these 8 topics. And if you click on any of the topics on the Wonder Wheel, you'll see what themes are related to that. And then on and on and infinitum, and you can create this chain and look at the way these buckets are related. And that's essentially how Google is thinking of the internet. They're showing you right there and then. And that's very powerful in and of itself, but it's not my, oh, sorry, that's the general presentation, and where is my thing? Sorry about that. That's not overall what I'm trying to show you. What I want you to understand is a more sophisticated concept. Yes, of course, the themes expand to other themes, and this goes on ad infinitum. You can have a Wonder Wheel that's, 25, 30, 40 keywords long and look at a very complex relationship of themes that will make your brain hurt, so you don't want to do that. And so on and so on and so on. Okay. What I want you to understand is that Google radiates impressions outwards. This is our best guess. They haven't told us this, but our best guess, our best understanding is that they will radiate impressions outwards in proportion to how well your center of gravity performs. So if you were to choose the keyword hiking boots as a center of gravity, and you were to generate a 3.8% click-through rate, well, you might be able to pull in traffic from leather hiking boots and get a 1.3% click-through rate, and discount hiking boots and get a 1.6 click-through rate. And because you can see that those keywords wind up a little closer to the sun, so to speak, meaning they get a higher proportion of impressions, whereas keywords that are all the way out in the edge, like hiking, that are not as closely related to hiking boots as leather hiking boots or discount hiking boots are, they would be getting fewer impressions or less light, to use this metaphor. This becomes very important in a moment. When you strengthen your center of gravity, what happens is you're also strengthening the click-through rate you're probably going to get on the most closely related terms, and Google pulls those terms closer in towards the sun, so they get even more light and more impressions. So not only are they getting a higher click-through rate, but they're getting more exposure. So it has an exponential, it's not a linear effect, it's an exponential effect on the amount of traffic and the quality of traffic that you get when you do this. And you can see that with hiking boots as a center of gravity as opposed to hiking as a center of gravity, because I almost doubled my click-through rate, the reason for that would be that now I can write specific ads about hiking boots, and I can write a specific landing page about hiking boots, and increase my quality score, and on and on and on. Because I've almost doubled the click-through rate, I am now also increasing my click-through rate on the more closely related terms, and so there's gravity. There's this gravity that pulls everything closer to the light. Go towards the light, Luke. Okay, I'm sorry, I've got a very bad sense of humor sometimes. And just for comparison, I could probably have someone make a better graphic than this, but what I was trying to show is that with a stronger center of gravity, the important closely related terms get sucked closer in with a higher click-through rate. I don't think I showed that as well as I could graphically. I don't know if there was enough room on this graphic to do that, but these keywords up top here are supposed to be closer in than these ones over here. And you can see it very clearly with the broader term hiking, that's actually in towards the majority of the light here, whereas with a 0.5% click-through with a weaker center of gravity, you're at 0.5% here. So just take a second and look at this and understand the way that the marketing center of gravity works from Google's perspective. And this is not only for AdWords with broad match, but this also works, for their search engine optimization algorithms. If they think your site is very, very strong on hiking boots, then if there are less well optimized sites for hiking gear or discount hiking boots, you're likely to get some traffic from that as well. Okay? So center of gravity works for everything in internet marketing, not just AdWords. It's most demonstrable in AdWords because that's where it's most measurable. So the next piece to understand is that the impact of your marketing center of gravity is at least doubled or sometimes quadrupled by the landing page center of gravity. So if you optimize a whole site for hiking as opposed to hiking boots, well, the conversion you're going to get on hiking boots if your site is optimized for hiking is much, much lower than the conversion you're going to get on hiking boots if your site is optimized for hiking. Therefore, your value per visitor, because you're going to sell a lot fewer of them, your value per visitor is much, much higher. If you convert more because you're going for a more specific term, your value per visitor is much, much higher. And you have the, I'm talking about the top situation over here where you have a higher and stronger center of gravity. With that, your value per visitor is higher, you're selling more, and your ability to pay for advertising is much, much greater. So not only is Google willing to give you more impressions, but now your ability to bid towards the top and pay for those impressions and take all the traffic that's available is greater. And when you can do that, Google increases your impression share again because they say, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. So there's an exponential effect of combining your center of gravity and optimizing your whole system to move towards the domination of that theme. Now, I want to show you the math that's involved with this, and this is very hypothetical, and I've taken some liberties just to illustrate things, but this is basically what happens. Let's say you're trying to be, let's say you've got a hiking store and you sell backpacking equipment and hiking gear and discount hiking boots and backpacking boots and like hundreds of different things for hiking enthusiasts. So you decide that you really should be about hiking overall. Well, here's the problem with that. If you look at the number of impressions, that's not a problem. There's 3 million some odd impressions on hiking, and I've shown some more general terms and I've shown some more specific terms. The problem is it's very, very hard to get a high click-through rate on hiking or a high quality score because there's so many different people searching for different types of things within that broad term, and there's so much competition on that term. So your click-through rate is probably going to be low. As a result, Google's not going to give you a lot of impression share. So even though there's 3 million impressions, they might only give you 7 or 8%, maybe less. And you're not going to have as many visitors as you think you're going to have. Worse, you're not going to be able to convert them. You're not going to be able to convert them. And in this situation, I gave you the benefit of the doubt and decided you can get a quality score of an 8 for hiking, but